Okay, so I love looking at these old scores from years ago, from 100, 150 years ago. So cool. So the thing with this is when people want to start learning Christmas music, when the season's coming up, they come across something like this. This is how it's written. And I remember in college, my piano professor would always tell me, hey, you want to get better at sight reading? Take a look at 4-part chorales, they'd call it, hymns, whatever. She'd call it chorales. So what you have here is in two hands, we have 4 different voices, right? And when you're kind of at the beginner level, it's kind of hard to get this quickly, right? So like if you play this as written, and don't worry, hang with me here. We're not going to sit in sheet music the whole lesson. I'm just showing you that a lot of these hymns can be like this, and it takes some practice if you're not a great sight reader, which I am not. I can read, but I can't just pull this up and play it perfectly. I know people who can, but there's a lot of us who cannot. And so this would take a bunch of practice, and maybe you just want to play this at Christmas Eve at your family gathering or even at church, and maybe you're at a time crunch and you can't read all these intervals in the right hand and in the left hand, and you can see there's specific parts here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can analyze a piece like this and break it down so you can play it easy, right? And I actually made a simplified version of this for you that I'm going to give to you guys for free, so you can just check it out and try to play. So I'm going to show you, like, what you do is you analyze a piece like this. You look at the key signature and you see, okay, this looks like it's an F, and you see there's a one accidental flat on the B flat. And then you see here a good indication too is that the first chord looks like the spellings of an F. We have F here, A and C, F, A, C, that's F. And then you look at the way the piece ends. Oh, look, it's another F chord. And you can tell that right from the first part right here, these first chords, F. And then what you do is you kind of look at every measure when the left hand, that's my marker. Okay, so I have a F chord right here too, right? And then I look at this, and this I see there's a B flat, F, D. I know that is a B flat. So this here, I put a B flat right there for this measure. And then what do you know? We're right back to F. So you could simplify this. You already know the bass, and this bass is already easy for a 4-part chorale for a hymn. Usually sometimes the bass are just as complicated as the right hand up here a lot of times. But this piece is we're lucky here that it's already pretty chill. You can see this. So I know on my left hand, I can just play F, F, B flat, F. That's the first line, first page or the first section of this, bam, I already have done it. You can just go all the way through, analyze every beginning measure, right? And so we're going to break this down, and I'm first going to play this, how it is written. And I'm going to show you how you can play it way simpler, and it's going to sound just as good, if not even better. Okay? So here we go. Right? That sounds nice. That's all right. But you'd have to learn that for the whole time. You got to know all these intervals. And if you're trying to learn something fast and you're not advanced, that might take too long. And you want to play this at the family party. So there is a different way that we can do this. And I wrote this out. I'm going to bring it up on the sheet. All right, so I wrote this one out for you. Real easy. So you could just play this at the party, and you're going to sound great. You don't have to worry about anything. And I wrote out the chords at the beginning of each measure for your left hand. So we know that the first chord in the song is F, F, and C, F, F, F. It goes all the way through. So I'm going to play this a couple of different ways. There's a couple of different ways that you can do tricks with your left hand that's going to make it sound way more complicated than it is. First one, right, starting out, is just playing block chords like this. Right? See that? Pretty cool, huh? So that's just playing black chords and in just the one melody in the right hand. One single note melody. That's all you need for simple piano. Everyone's going to know what it is. It's going to sound cool. But there's something you can do in your left hand that's going to make it even sound cooler and more professional. And this is like an Alberti bass. And it's basically going... There's a couple ways to do that. You can go... But for this being 3/4 time, I go... That pattern over and over again. Then notice how little my left hand is moving. It's pretty much in the same position. You see that? There's another trick you can do with your left hand, which is the same pattern that you can cross over. Like, it's the same pattern for every chord, except you're doing the octave like this, and you go and doing the 5th octave, root 5th octave, and then the next note over. Right? And you do that for the same pattern for the B flat. Next note over. And I say next note on the scale, not the very next note like this. That just happens to be in the scale of B flat. You wouldn't go, that sounds weird. You can hear it that it's not right. The next scale note. But a lot of people have to cross over. And I find that you could do that. And then you switch it. You can do that all the way through for all the chords. C would be. And that makes it, and once you get, that's something if you're not comfortable with switching over, you just have to practice that. You just got to practice it on your off time. Just take chords and do this pattern. And if you can do it without looking, without thinking very much about it, then you're ready. You're ready to do it. Play the song like that. But I find people when they've never done this before and they don't have time, and Christmas is coming up, you want to play that song, just do the Alberti section, because your hand doesn't have to move. Here's all the movements you're making. It's as far as you have to move to play this whole song in the left hand. This little move, look at my pinky stays. I mean, these are real short movements. It's a lot easier to know where your place is and you won't get lost, so. So that's what you could do. So in this little sheet that I gave you, I'm going to give you guys this. You can get this. You can have it ready. You could do this with every hymn. Every 4-part chorale, every hymn, a church song. You could take the melody line and just figure out every chord in the measures that's driving that. And you can simplify it like this for every song you play. So you can at least play the song. And if you want to learn the full part chorale and do that, cool. Do that later, but you can at least start getting familiar with the melody doing how I just showed you here. So go ahead and download this. Let me know your comments, what you think about this. Any suggestions for other videos? I'd love to hear from you. Please subscribe if you would like, and I will see you next time.